Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
And this is Garrison House. Yeah, we are here. We weren't here last week. It was just a busy week. We had just finished working. I had 2 events back to back. And so I was wore out.
Oh,
there she go. There she goes right there. So, oops, wrong thing. No, we don't want to do that yet. See, I haven't been here a while to the system. It's like, hey, I want to do the ad drop. But anyway, we're here this week. We'll be having some great stuff next week, prayerfully. We're getting prepared to have a nice little busy week again. And so we, prayerfully we'll be here. Either way it goes, we're going to be on. So we don't give all our business because in this day and age, you can give too much business. People tell their business too much. And I'm not in the business of telling my business.
I think you're telling too much right now, honey.
I'm telling them for a fact that we're going to have a good show next week. It's going to be
some
fun.
ice cream, though. Maybe a little piece of cake. Maybe after the show. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. Anyway, the tip jar is open. Help her get her cake and ice cream. Go to GarrisonHousePodcast.com. Leave an ice cream and cake tip.
Yes.
Leave a tip for her to get her ice cream and cake.
You have not.
And no, we can go get her some ice cream and cake. So yeah, that's a good time to leave her cake. I need my coffee fund increase. So you go to GarrisonHousePodcast.com. Leave a tip. Those tips help us get our coffee, cake, ice cream.
I have no idea. Well, all of a sudden, I started yawning. I was fine.
See,
until now.
What y'all don't know, she prays up here. And last night, she was praying downstairs. I'm trying to get some sleep. Next thing I get inspired to create some more music. And I'm like, okay, I was trying to sleep. So she comes up here and prays. So it is kind of peaceful up here. I jokingly tell people, I don't come up here and just, watch certain movies. I'm not going to turn on John Wick upstairs. It's like, so I guess I'll turn on maybe CSI or something that's not full of cussing.
I don't think John Wick has a lot.
It doesn't have a lot of cussing. It's a lot of fighting. Well, the last one is a lot of fighting and stuff. But still, it just doesn't feel right coming up here and playing those. So I tend to leave those movies downstairs. You want some of this blessed water you blessed the other day?
I might need
Maybe
some.
she needs some of that. I was going to hit it up, but but anyway. So that's usually what happens here. But anyway, we have a great show for you today.
Ooh, that's some good drinking.
I bet you it is because that was some blessed water. We have some good programs for you today. So we're going to talk about know your benefits. I'm going to give you that right at the beginning because those who watch on Cashmere, you don't get the tease. So know your business is her. Business? Yeah, that's our signature thing. Then we have in the age of outrage, we have 2 topics in one. 2 people. We're going to talk about the whole Stephen A. Smith and Jasmine Crockett people saying stuff. I got a response to the young lady who made her statement because it didn't make no sense. And Fred Hammond.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to talk about him now. Fred, if you're somebody tells you we're talking about you, it's all good. It's all good. I haven't seen you in like 20-something years. When did he leave the church?
I don't know.
20-something years ago. Anyway, I haven't seen you in decades in person, so no offense. And then we're going to go ahead and then talk about our music. We want you to always support 9 Gifts, that album project. We have another one coming. But before we get into that, we got to talk about my favorite topic. Yes, the workout. Yeah, look at them do them curls back there. And they're actually doing them right. I do mine wrong. But anyway, getting more weight off. I haven't been weighed in yet. However, see, there she go. It's always good to get your health in order. And that's one of the things that's important is getting your health. So I go to AM Total Fitness in Southfield, Michigan. They take good care of me. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I've lost so much weight too. I had to get new pants, new belt, and
yes. He dropped
so far probably about 80 or 90 pounds. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's see here. Where were you before?
I don't know. I couldn't. The last belt when I started the program, I barely got the last belt buckled, and the pants I have on, the sweats were all fitting nice and snug. Now they're falling off me. I have to make sure I'm decent at all times. So anyway, making sure my pants don't fall down. But being fit is more than what you see on the outside, as it says right there. So what we want you to do is go ahead and scan that QR code and get yourself registered with the program. Contact them, tell them Garrison House sent you. Visit their site, get all the information, get your DEXA scan, get your VO2 max done, find out where your oxygen is when you're working out. It's always good to do that. So get your DEXA, see what your bone density, all that fun stuff. So go ahead and then join them. You give them a call. That didn't sound right. You can give them a call at 248-480-0131 or info@amtbfit.com and tell them you saw the ad on Garrison House, and they have some great things for you. And we're going to go ahead and get right into our know your benefits, because I want her to stop yawning. So let's get into it. Anyway, she's going to talk about what she knows. Know your benefits, and we're going to go right on into that.
So this is it's around this time of the season or the year where you will renew your benefits packages for the following year. So just like which is kind of interesting, because at this point right now, because of what's going on in the government right now, I don't know if the marketplace is open. I haven't checked to see. So that's where you would go in and reapply for any of your insurance, and then it'll roll over to the next year. So just let know your benefits. One of the things that I was talking to somebody about, and they asked me, what is the difference between a PPO and an HSA? Well, I was like, well, honey, an HSA is not an insurance plan. So what it is that it is a PPO. Okay, so basically what happens is you get a PPO account, right? So you get a PPO account, insurance plan, and usually with that is a high deductible. It's a high deductible plan. But however, your premiums are lower. So a lot of companies only offer PPOs. I don't know what PPO means. And then no, it's not personal protection.
Personal protection
order. No, that's not what it is. But however, so what happens is, and usually you have to pay a co-insurance. So once you clear your deductible, then you have to pay 20% co-insurance, if that's possible. I don't know, maybe not. So what an HSA account is a health savings account, and basically what it does is it helps towards your deductible. Okay. And most companies would put so much in, but you have to put some in too. So on this particular one, an HSA, depending on which plan they went with, I think it was like $350 match. So if you put $350 in, the company will put another $350 in, but anything else over that they cannot put in. However, just keep in thought here is that the IRS only allows up to a max, okay, because this is pre-tax dollars. So IRS only offers up to a max. I don't know, I think it was $3,000 or $4,000. I don't know. I think after you hit age 55 or over, I think it goes up. I think you can go up a little bit higher than that. I think it goes up to like 5,000. So
what was this plan?
HSA account.
Okay, I'll look that up while you do that.
HSA, yes, it's called an HSA account. And so, so also what happens is there's also, now HSA accounts are only good for high yielding or high deductible plans such as your PPOs. You cannot use those on HMOs or EPOs, okay? But however, they do have what we call an FSA account, which is flex spending account. And so you can put pre-tax dollars into this account. So you already put it in. So basically, let's say that you want to put $1,000 into your FSA account. You can put $1,000 in, and it comes up right away. Okay. And then from there, every 2 weeks, they take, however you get paid, they take the money out of your account. And so you get it up front, but however, it does come out of your account every 2 weeks. So that's another thing. So it's still your money. However, you get it up front. You can do a lot with the FSA account. You can get your prescriptions. You can get, they even have like a store now. They have an FSA, HSA store that you can go on, and you can buy things on the store right there. And I just bought a not treadmill, but you can. I bought a walking pad, and they offered a FSA. And I had money. I got a lot of money left on my card, and I have to use it. So I said, okay, I'll buy a walking pad. And so I ended up buying a walking pad. Now, what now used to be, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it by the end of the year. But I think now the IRS lets you go into March. I think until end of March, you have to spend it all up by that time before you can do it. It does roll over, but after March, whatever was left, you cannot. That's it. So that's one of the things. I did it because with my EPO, I have a deductible if I had to do a procedure. So that's the reason why I did it. I didn't have no procedure this year. So so that's the reason why.
I didn't have any major dental work either.
So, right. So that's the reason why. So now I'm going to have to find a lot of things to try to buy here. And I'm also trying to buy a scale. So.
But anyway, well, real quick. Now, anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to say anyway to you, honey, but she'll kick me later. I did get the information for the two things that we were asking about. The ACA Health, the exchange is open during the shutdown.
Okay.
The current contribution amount, I will put that on the screen if they can see it. Is the well, let me come back to it so I can make that a little bit bigger. If it lets me. There we go. Here we go. Let me see all our business. So here it is. The current annual contribution limits for a health savings account is set by the Internal Revenue. For individual self, $4,300. Family, $8,550. That's why did this go 80? Why did this go 8,600? But anyway, the catch-up rate for those of us who are over 55, we get an additional $5,000. And then next year it goes up by $100 on the individual, $200 by the family, and you could double the catch-up fee for the 55 and over next year. That would have been nice. You could have $2,000. But anyway, that's how that's set up to be now.
I think, but that's but again, remember, you're going to have to pay for that yourself out of your own pocket. So even though your premium is low, you don't need $8,500, especially if your deductible is only $3,000. I think your individual deductible is $3,000. So, but then again, you take that out of your check. So if you are a person who if you're young and even if you have slight health conditions, as long as it's not severe, then your basic PPO is fine. But if you're a little bit older and you have a lot of health conditions, then you probably will want to look into trying to get your FSA because you have to pay the deductible first before they pay for anything else. So you have to pay. So if you have a $3,000 deductible as an individual, you have to pay that $3,000 deductible. Now, there is an out-of-pocket max. So let's say that you got sick and you have a $3,000 deductible, and then plus if you have a co-insurance. Okay, so there is an out-of-pocket max. Usually there's up to $6,000. So anything after $6,000, you don't have to pay for nothing else. So the max they give you the max that you have to pay for. So that's something you also want to make sure you remember.
Yep. That's interesting.
Yeah. So so just know your benefits, know your packages, PPOs. Again, it has a high deductibles. Usually have a deductible plan. The premiums are lower, but however, there's a higher deductible. You have to pay that up front. And some insurances do have co-insurances, but some of them don't. EPOs or HMOs. HMOs were back then, you had to have a primary care physician, and then you also would have to have a referral to do anything. But however, EPOs, you don't necessarily have to have a referral, but there are some things where if another doctor like let's say you went to a specialist and I don't know, maybe not, I don't know, but most of the time you can see a specialist, so you don't necessarily have to have a referral to go see a specialist. But just keep that in mind. You don't necessarily have to do it. So if you need to go see a gastroenterologist and your primary care says, and you just called one up and went to go see him, you should be okay. You don't used to have to get referrals to see a dermatologist. But I think what they're trying to do, because they want your primary care physician to do everything. And so that's what it was. And that way they didn't have to pay for it. The specialists cost a lot of money.
Wow.
And so, and they didn't want to pay for the specialists. So they want to make sure that you needed it. So that's the reason why so the primary care physician, your PCP, was the one who was, they used to prescribe acne medications. They used to prescribe certain medications for certain things. Anything, I complain about something. Okay, here's a referral. Here, go see this doctor. I'm like, wait a minute, it's just come on. Can you just give me something to put on my face? Things like that. They, some still wants you. They tell you to go see a dermatologist. They tell you to go see a specialist in order to just give you a little cream or something like that.
Well, there's one thing that's interesting though. For those who don't realize, open enrollment starts November 1st. So you literally have a
couple
weeks. So this is why we're doing this. So this is we'll probably do a couple more segments during this time because the marketplace is still open. Mm-hmm. So I know people say, well, we're in the shutdown. It's like non-essential things are shut down, like the federal government parks, and it's the stuff that's not essential. So
which people, is not too many people had to work because everybody else got fired.
It's just like back when we had the big C-19. We still got to say C-19 because we still played this on social and they sort of act silly. During that time, they said non-essential employees. Well, pretty much a lot of the stuff was shut down that a lot of you didn't realize. The government shutdown that happened, it didn't really matter because a lot of things were already shut down.
Right.
So it really didn't even matter. So it's the same thing. Only thing.
I never even liked that when they said non-essential employees.
Yeah, and then
everybody who has a job to feed their family is essential.
Everything's essential. Mm-hmm. And however, the people are still getting paid, which is amazing. The president made some moves to make sure people got checks. So that's sort of it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. People say, well, what's the good thing and the bad thing? The good thing is you still get a check. The bad thing is Congress is still now Congress is like, oh, well, they're still getting paid, so I'll just drag my feet.
Well, I believe what is happening, this is my thought, this is my tinfoil hat.
I don't have one here, but I can
they're trying to have it where if you don't pay certain people, they don't have to be in the streets. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave that.
So that's kind of how it is, if
getting a paycheck.
But if you ain't getting, so they're banking on the fact is if the government shuts down, then you don't have to pay certain
you have to pay the people basically. Yeah. They can go do other stuff that they get paid for that y'all think they don't get paid for.
So they don't have to pay these people who govern go out there. Trump doesn't have to send nobody over to other states because we don't have money to send them. So they thinking that this is it has nothing to do with healthcare. I think it doesn't necessarily have to do with healthcare. It's most likely they just don't. Look, would you go to work if you didn't have to get paid? If you knew you're not going to get paid? I knew somebody.
Yeah, there's some people.
But I'm just saying.
They literally work. Well, I'll get paid something because some jobs. What used to happen in the shutdown is you see what they call essential employees, like
National Guard, ICE.
National Guard is
they're essential. However, they don't have to get paid
by the state. That people don't realize that.
So they thinking
Guard is as Michigan, our governor is to, even though I know we're on Know Your Benefits, but our governor is the commander in chief of the Michigan National Guard. However, the president can override, if I remember how it works. So technically, the National Guard belongs to your state. So people say, oh, he's sending the National Guard. No, the National Guard is ran by your governor. So if you're in the state and he says, well, I'm calling up this state's National Guard, and the governor's like, I don't want to send them, and you get it used to be those kind of fights. They would fight, say, no, I'm not sending my people out. They can stay home. But again, the president has authority override, so it didn't matter. So, but yeah, your state, so we pay for our state. It is partially subsidized by the federal government. However, it's our job as a state. I'm not sure how the payroll works because they are state technically a state military force because every state.
Well,
has their
I'm
own
quite sure
military.
possibly that they'll send a bill to the federal government.
I'm quite sure that Whitmer should gladly send that bill. Okay, send them the bill. We gonna pay them, but you gonna pay. Okay, send us some new planes because we need new airplanes. But yeah, we have. Most people don't realize that each governor is the commander in chief of their own military, and that's something that we gotta go back to teaching basic history. But yeah, the shutdown is interesting. Like she said, some people, they want to keep people from doing other things and getting paid to do other things that, just to make money.
Well, no,
but you did have one
it
guy.
so that way they don't have to pay these National Guards, ICE, or anybody else. They're thinking that if doing this shutdown, then that way they don't want to work. They don't want to go to work. So that's kind of my tinfoil hat. Whether it's true or not, I don't know.
Right,
but that's but that's what I'm saying. It had nothing to do with nothing. They're thinking that if they could shut this thing down, then they were banking on the fact that they're not going to get paid, and so they were banking on the fact that they will not want to go to work. And so my thing is, look, these people do not have a job. Because if they had a job, they would be at their job. They are paid people to go out there. I'll be carding. I'm like, let me see, where are you from? Let me see your ID. Let me see your ID. Because I'll be asking, because I bet you most of these people don't even live in these cities that they're out here protesting. They are paid to go to do these things. And they're probably getting paid well. And so
I remember seeing a sign where this is probably in 2017. I think I saw it on 8 Mile in Greenfield, and they were had a hiring paid protester sign.
Yeah,
literally had a sign. I wish I would have took a picture because some of y'all be like, "Nah."
Yes,
I actually saw something. It's like the same thing. I didn't take the picture. The guy said, "I'm being honest. I just want weed."
Right.
So there are things now they don't do it like that because social media is so big. Now you can just put a post out there. You go to join the right right group, you get all the information where you can get a nice little job, $13, $14 an hour, sometimes $20, $25 an hour. I mean, you get paid. Look.
And then now it's Craigslist. These things are on Craigslist and all that stuff. So yeah, that's how they rally people around. And remember, they used to be ads. We used to have ads, those little ads in the back of the newspapers. Classifieds. They used to have. They even used to have dating apps. What's it say? Black BG or something.
Black single white woman seeking
black
single white man. BSW.
Honey, how can you be a black single white?
Hey, it's biracial, so I'm just.
So they used to have those ads.
How it used to be black single woman BSW seeking BSM. That sounds nasty, but that's
how
I used to when I was in Specs Howard in broadcasting school. The Metro Times was my comic book. All of us during our lunch we go to the back because I didn't get hip to it until I got into Specs Howard. Which is now part of Lawrence Tech University. When I got the Specs, we used to read Metro Times because it used to be at our school. And it was hilarious. They said, look at the back, look at the classifieds. And we would be rolling on the dating because dating section was hilarious. The kind of dating. And Metro Times still exists. And I believe, I haven't seen picked up one in years, but I'm quite sure, I guarantee you, they still have those singles ads in there. So there are things that are out there that is hilarious today. But anyway, we went way off of Know Your Benefits, but that's fine.
So
we'll
just
come back to that.
Yeah, so we are going to continue to discuss Know Your Benefits. If you're watching, leave a comment if you need any insight. I'll be happy to try to get you some insight on any of the benefits. And always call your insurance company directly, and they can help you with any questions you want. And also, please be kind to the customer service representatives. They work just like you do, and they only have the information in front of them that they can talk to you about. So always be kind, and because what kind of help desk is this? Well, they can only give you what you know. Get the app.
Yeah,
everything's on the app now.
Yeah, because I'm about to deal with some. I'm always nice to CSRs because I got to talk to one about one of my packages that haven't come yet. But anyway, we're gonna go on into the age of outrage. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I spelled Crockett's name. I think it's 2 T's, isn't it?
It is, man. I think it is. But I
I
think
don't want her.
I think it's a C and a T.
Oh well, we're gonna. I'll let her.
There was a battle going on between Stephen A. Smith, a commentator, and he has this YouTube channel called Stephen A. Smith. No, it's like something talk. And then Jasmine Crockett, of course, we know she is the state rep for Texas district, and Jasmine Crockett, she has a lot of she talks a lot. She's a very very outspoken person, and so I take it as it is. I look at it as the fact is that Jasmine is trying to raise her brand ranking. And so the higher you can raise your brand ranking, the more you can get on public appearances. And of course, she has been making her rounds. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how it is. So that's what she's doing. She's trying to put herself out there. And so now she's just trying to really raise her brand ranking. And it doesn't matter, no matter what, everybody wants to be the next Kamala Harris. And that was the whole thing going on in Georgia. But anyway, I'll leave that alone. And so I take it as it is. I mean, she does spill silly stuff, but I mean, it'll make no sense what she says. And she just goes on to certain platforms. So so Stephen A. Smith called her out on it. That all she complains about is just talking about how, too bad you can't get that clip going, but anyway, talks about how Stephen A. Smith called her out saying that's all she does is just complains and talks and basically talks about what Trump ain't doing, what Trump doing, what he ain't doing, what he's supposed to be doing. And so he just basically told her that she should just stop it and take care of her district and see what you can do for your district. Boom. However, I believe some woman on another podcast went after him and said that, called him, I don't know, I didn't even pay attention to him.
I'm not gonna play it because she does use language. However, one of the things she said, her fascination. Well, he cusses too, so
he didn't cuss on this one.
Okay. I'm not sure what the fascination is with you young black women when you want to go after a black man that's old enough to be your daddy, and the first thing you want to go to is their package, being nice as clean as a family program. That's the first thing y'all want to attack. Number two, she has said something like Stephen A. is upset because of the fact that there's more educated black women than there are educated black men.
I think he said that.
No, but that's what she said. She said that's why he said it, and he had his comments had nothing to do about that. His comments were 100%. But I'm gonna answer her real quick, because if I would have been on that podcast with her, my question would have been like, okay, I hear you, but you just said a point there. So why aren't there any black men going to college? That's what I would do. I would say, hold on, let's get off this for a second, because you just said something that's very important. There's not a lot of black educated men. Okay, so how can we solve that problem? Deter it all the way off him, because throw it right back to her. Because that's the problem we have. You're going to get up here and start talking, but you just said the quiet part out loud. There's not enough black educated men. Okay, well, that seems like we have a situation here. So that means we are not focusing on getting our black man educated. And secondly, I ain't going to go into, because that's another part. Me and somebody else said personally, that happens with a lot of these educated people. Because I tell people like this, the greatest education is living. Because I don't care, no degree, though we went to Specs Howard, we have a certificate, no training for Specs Howard can train me like life has trained me for 55 years and moving forward. There's some things I've learned in life, through life, I'm like, wow, no school can teach you this. So when I hear people say, oh, they're uneducated and you're in your 20s, I'm like, keep living. You're really not educated. I haven't even hit the fullness of what I'm learning. There's still stuff I'm learning about life. Life is a trip.
At what point is it considered uneducated? Just because you don't have a degree? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Just because you work as a laborer, that's what they're saying? We all have our level of understanding on how to interpret certain things. I was watching a movie before, and the person was autistic or something. But however, he knew how to plant. He knew how flowers grew. He knew how to make sure everything is gone. So there is some level of understanding of certain things. You can't say uneducated. Everybody has some form of understanding and wisdom in certain aspects of their jobs that they do. You don't, but yeah, we as society always put it on the fact that you have to have a degree. You have to have a degree to be in management. You have to have a degree in being this. You have to have a degree in that. And that's what I think that's one of the things back on the first round of Trump presidency. He was trying to get rid of all that. But see, with Obama, he cut all that stuff out. He cut off all the trade schools. He cut that out.
Sure did.
He cut all that trade schools out. He made other schools to if you wanted to go to school, you still have to have a trade, but however, you would get a degree. So you had to get a degree. So what would have took you 9 weeks
9 months
to do it? Now it's like you have to have a degree to do it. So now you have another 2 years, just because so that way you can have a degree, and so that way, because that's how the federal funding loans were going. That's how they were paying for these things.
And that's what happened to. Oh, and by the way, and I'm gonna say this real quick. That's what happened to a lot of the schools. But also I forgot, the same day that Stephen A. hit Jasmine, Judge Joe Brown hit her too. Notice how everybody's afraid of Joe Brown. Nobody's saying anything about Judge Joe Brown. Judge Joe Brown was actually harder than Stephen A. was.
The thing is, though, with Stephen A. Smith, it was a triggered word where he did mention, he said he knew a lot of educated women. So I think, so that people were thinking, everybody try to read between the lines, he was saying that, which means that Jasmine Crockett was not educated. So was uneducated. So that's kind of that's what they were twisting in his words. He didn't say that. So people always use those trigger words, and that was triggered a word. And so, and nobody want to hear nothing else. All they want to hear is what they want to hear.
That's the problem we have in our society. And as many of these people I'm scrolling through YouTube are saying, what you're seeing happening in Black culture, attack on him, is a problem in Black culture. Black culture, we've turned into a culture of follow this leader. And if you don't follow this leader, then you are not like us. You're part of the problem because you have the nerve to think differently than what the collective. So basically, what's happening is a lot of people in the Black community are becoming independent. So, and Stephen A., I believe, has shifted to independent. And the reason a lot of us left Democrat or Republican is we just don't want to be affiliated. We want to be able to say, okay, let me think for myself. I don't need you, Fox News. I don't need you, CNN or MSNBC, telling me how to think. And that's the situation. I don't need people like Roland Martin telling me how I'm supposed to feel. And that's the problem. Everybody thinks that because he said something, I don't have to agree with what he said. I can agree with that. I don't have to agree with it. But guess what? That's his opinion. Now, the young lady, what she said, I don't have to agree with her, and I don't have to disagree with her. But I do disagree with her because she put out a second question. I did upset with the host who didn't say, hey, well, wait a minute. Let's stop. Let's hold it right there. We need to address that. And like Angie just said, during the Obama years, trade schools were cut out. Now, some of these trade schools were con jobs. I went to one of them. Actually, yeah, one of them. And it was a con job, and which was true. But even though they were bait and switches, they still gave you a job. The one I went to, National Institute of Technology, for a season, they bait and switched it. I went into the broadcasting program. Kind of found out they put me in the lineman's program. I wasn't trying to be a lineman.
Right, but they also, these trade schools weren't, there was no jobs attached to them, depending on what trade school you were going to. So that was another thing. So remember that whole education, what was that? Education connection. Call now. And and the guy that was doing it, the commercial, he just came out and said that he never even went to school. So everybody thought he was actually going there. And then we had the little girl, the woman girl dancing, education, connection,
I remember
they'll
that.
tell you how to,
That was the reason why Obama cut a lot of that stuff. A lot of it was, but I mean, that's the problem. You have a system that wanted to, and I saw this happening in the 80s when we were in high school. I saw the system shifting from making sure all genders attend college to shifting towards pushing single gender moving forward.
Well, I don't think so.
But what happened was young men got discouraged. Young men, I think when they took that's my opinion. I think they took the building trades out of schools. When they took the trade courses like shop and even home ec, brothers were taking home ec too. When they took those kind of courses out, not everybody, male or female, is built for college. I mean, because you got a lot of people who are educated, and you ask them, well, what's your degree? Oh, I have a fine arts degree. Okay, so what are you going to do with that? Or a poli-sci major.
Poli-sci you could do
Poli-sci you could do a lot with. But
well, I mean, usually if you have a poli-sci major, you go to law school.
Yeah, but
and then you become a politician.
Have degrees that
you don't even do
they have degrees that don't mean nothing. So you're educated. And the one thing that had upset me a lot is during the when Trump was reelected, the first thing the View was saying, everybody, the main talking point, and the reason I'm saying this is the talking point that I heard every single day was, well, uneducated voters voted for Trump. I'm like, wow. So all those doctors and lawyers who voted for Trump were uneducated? So that's been the talking point of the left, because I'm not gonna say the Democrat Party. The left and the right has been, both sides are jacked up right now. But the left, their talking point is they call you uneducated if you, like for us, we don't have a view on anybody because we're trying to be in the middle. They will say, well, you're not educated enough on the situation. And I'll say, okay, tell me the 3 pillars of the First Amendment. And then I'll start going through each part of the Constitution that I know and say, oh, well, when did America break away from England? What year was that? And I saw somebody wearing a t-shirt and they had the wrong year on it. I literally laughed. I was like, okay. It was 1775 for this. No, we had the American Civil War. We broke away from the King of England in 1775. The country was founded in 1776. There you have it. So
just because you don't have a degree does not mean that we don't know don't know nothing. We do know how to read.
Yeah, and I love history.
So some people like to read, and some things, and then sometimes there is no opportunity for schooling for most people. And you got to look at the demographics of the area, and some people will have a lot more advantage. Yes, some Black Americans will have a lot more advantage depending on the area they work. And then some people just want to go and work, and so, now, we know a young person who finally woke up and decided they were trying to
say who it is.
Yeah. She, at first my daughter, she just thought it was all about work and getting money and doing this and being on her own. Now she's realizing that it's not about that anymore. You're going to have some type of understanding or some type of background, education or something to back you up in order to get what you want. You just can't work at these these jobs, as I say, because it is just jobs, because it's something just basically not even sustaining you. So now she's just waking up. She really wants to, and I pray, thank you, Lord, that she's now going, she's looking into going to school now and actually following through. She was sampling. Oh, I don't like this. She'll go, right. She would go and do, fill out the whole loan paperwork and everything. And see, the thing I should have told her, said, look, you need to drop these classes before a certain time. That way you didn't have to pay for it. But no, she waits until the semester's almost over and then don't want to go to school no more. Now she had to pay for this whole semester. So I'm like, that's one of those things. So it's just sampling this stuff, and she dropped short. I was like, oh, I don't like this schooling. I don't like this anymore. So now she's understanding that it's a lot more to it than that. So she said, so she's more committed now to follow through and making sure that she's the school that, that she's going to make sure she gets the schooling that she needs.
And that's the reason why, as a father of a daughter, I want my daughter educated. If we had a son, I'd be like, I would be on both of them. Like, go to college, get some paper. Don't sit around not doing anything. And I really don't say much to her about not going to higher. To me, trade school is education. Go to school where you can get a career. Or see, one of the things we used to have, then we're going to move on to our next controversy, was that you used to be able to become an apprentice without getting a degree. So if you want to become a plumber, you go to a master plumber. Hey, I want to become a master plumber. Can I become your apprentice? Yes, you can. And then you learn from the master plumber. You didn't need a degree. Now you pretty much need a degree. They took a lot of these things that were apprentice.
Right, because you have
college courses.
License, you got to be licensed, and then that's the reason why.
And
So a lot of these things are now licensed because you didn't have to be a licensed to be a pharmacy technician.
No.
And it wasn't until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Well, let's see,
Longer
back
than
in,
that.
it was eight or 9 years ago, right?
Before the pandemic.
Right, and they made it you have to get a license.
Yeah. So a lot of things that the Smith versus Crockett thing is that y'all on both sides if you're a Smith follower or a Crockett follower, y'all need to just chill.
It
doesn't matter. The problem is you're worshiping a person. You love your Jasmine, you love your Stephen A. Y'all need to just go to the corner and y'all need to chill out and think about it for a moment. What if you were the one getting attacked? Nobody thinks about that. But anyway, we're gonna play this right here on this part because I think y'all need to hear what the whole controversy. I found the trailer. Here we go.
Were you telling me everything when you said you couldn't hear it? When I asked you over and over, could you hear it? Were you telling me everything? Or were you?
I don't know. I think it's, I believe it was supposed to be. What is that? And I don't know. They are in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, that is
Deceitful is when you leave out some important details to shade the truth, to gain an advantage on someone. Were you doing that to me, Eve?
That's a trick I should.
You're making me feel
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Afraid?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're making me feel.
Because I'm afraid. Why would God put this right in the middle of the garden? Right? Look at the fruit, woman. I want something to stop to me. Come on with me! He knows you'll be a God.
One Lord faith, one God body here. Throw your hands up in the air if you in the rear. It's all good in the hood, living in the garden. Juicy fruit everywhere, nobody starving.
I get it. Look, sometimes you just can't you can't put a twist on stuff like that, on certain things, and thinking that you try and be down with the hip hop and try and be down with the people.
I am speechless.
And that's the one that's not even the one I saw. I went on his, I think I found it on Facebook or something. I found it on, I can't
Tell you
remember
about my
how.
crew. Dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them is dogs, some of them is pigs and cats and stuff like that.
Chicken, lamb, peacock.
Bears and horses and things and stuff like that. But my best friend is a cat named Geo. He's gorilla. We call him Geo for gorilla.
So, okay. So that's where we come from.
What are you talking about?
You know, the gorillas, the monkeys.
You don't come from no gorilla. Who told you that?
It's in my school books.
Man, no. Man, I was there when Adam was made. And he was made out of dirt. God reached down there and he was like, he just took his fingernails. He just taking his fingernails getting dirty. Next thing you know, Adam was laying there. Woo! Man, you know what we call him?
What?
We call him dirt. Because he's made out of dirt. Dirt! Dirty! That's my man's though.
Welcome to Eden.
Okay, I see it. Now I don't want Fred Hammond like in my comments complaining.
it goes back to saying if you have nothing nice to say.
Just don't say nothing at all.
I mean, I get the concept that they're trying to make a little twist off the word, and I did one of the things I did do a teaching. I don't even know if it's a teaching. I don't call it teachings, but anyway, on Adam and Eve in the garden. But and I do interpret it differently.
Mm-hmm.
But however, I don't sit there and just like make it look like dirt. God got in the hands of a dirt. That wasn't funny. But anyway.
And I'm not gonna rebuke Fred, I think, no offense to the first lady who did it. Some things you just, I'm not gonna call it. That's some lady who rebuked him and said they ain't God. I'm just gonna say it's just not I didn't feel it.
Feel it?
I don't feel it. Now, unless you're trying to go for something like, see, she already got. Now, let me explain to you. Somebody did years ago. Fox did a special, and it was their interpretation of Jesus.
That was fine.
And I'm gonna show you how they did it, and let you see how it was done. So let's play that clip.
Get up. Let's go. Look, this is the man who has betrayed me.
I will never leave you, even though all the rest do.
I tell you that before the rooster crows twice tonight, you will say 3 times you do not know me. Peace be with you, teacher. Be quick about it, my friend. It is with a kiss that you betray the Son of Man.
When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of gold.
Yeah, that's how Fox did it, and that's John Carlos, Daughtry and John Carlos.
Daughtry, that's what it was.
Yeah, and let me tell you something about Passion New Orleans. That was phenomenally produced. Though people say, "Oh, it was live." Okay, me explain that. It wasn't really live. It was because you had this part with Seal. And this is from Fox. This is how they did it. And Seal was in it. And because we don't want copyright strikes, I'm just going to just let you see real good. So that's how that was done. And it made the interpretation was real people, not people dressed as characters, not dressed as furries and all that. I understand where you were going, Fred. I do understand it. I understand it. Your creativity, you did. The question is, here's the question is, did people get saved from it? That's the question. How many people did he minister to indirectly? So some people
was he preaching to the choir? Yes.
Right. So who did he reach? Now I'm quite sure he reached somebody, because as quiet as it's kept, we're saying here because we've been in the kingdom, we've been saved for a minute. So he may have reached people that weren't saved. In his defense, I'm not defending him, but I'm just saying he may have reached those who weren't saved. And we don't know. Did he do an altar call at the end? That would be curious. I didn't see the play. Would I go see the play? Not really. He's still in the same realm as doggone it, I had the name of the play that TJ Hemphill did for decades here in Detroit. And that play, that's where a couple people have come from that play. And Bishop William Murphy is the one. He was the star of the play, that stage play. It slipped my mind, and I was talking about it earlier. So, it comes to the point that, is it people being outraged? I believe so. I believe a lot of people have taken a lot of, they're trying to be too spiritual.
I think one of the things I think is that the makeup and the costumes I think he needed a better costume director and makeup director that can really bring out the characters, because of course, it's not a Broadway play. It's not Cats. It's not midnight summer stream. So the budget might have been a certain way. So they probably had to do it. They did the best they could with their guy. But it's just, I mean, if you have to go and be sensationalizing the word, thinking this is going to bring people into Christ, then you're not doing your job as a Christian, bringing people into Christ, because
Correct.
the word is what the word is. You don't need to sensationalize it. You give the person the word of the Lord. You tell them that your life can change by just reading and just understanding and receiving the Holy Ghost. You're good. We shouldn't have to have all this sensationalizing stuff. These pastors on the altar, flipping, flopping, running around the courts, fire blazing. I was what pyrotechnics. I mean, literally, I saw this, and or you have to have. Now I do illustrations sometimes, but you think you're getting tired of doing these illustrations every time you're doing these things. So you don't have to. We shouldn't have to go through all these hoops and hollers in order to bring people in. My movie project, Hosanna the movie, it basically touches on forgiveness. These other inspirational shows you see out there, Church Girl or any other ones you see those, it's just inspirational. It just touches you to where you are now. But it's not you're not taking the scripture and trying to put hip hop around it or trying to put street in it.
Right.
I mean, the girl had these long blonde braid. I mean, and some booty shorts. I mean, she's attracting something, but is it? Why are we there? People are probably only showing up because either that person was in it or whoever was in it, and it was Fred Hammonds, and he promoted it, and people wanted to go see it and he did. He took this woman criticizing him. He took this woman that was criticizing him and used it as his own promo.
Right.
Is that wrong? No.
Mm-mm.
He took it was an opportunity, and he took it. And so if you had to do all that just for a movie, I mean, just for a stage play,
Got people talking about it, because here's the one I was thinking about. Perilous. This is his trailer, T.J. Hemphill's Perilous Times. This one here,
I think he ended up.
he did it the same. He promoted it the same time he did.
I think the last time he did it, he did some changing to it.
Yeah, it's not. I thought this was great. But he does the stage play. I wish I could find a promo that I did for him. I did one of the promos about 15 years ago. But the thing is, they don't have the latest one, because I have it on my server, because here it is. We'll just go with this one here. Because we know TJ. We know him very well. We worked together years ago. But this was his play. Perilous Times touched thousands of people. Bishop William Murphy was part of that production. And so it was a well-produced play. And this is go to some pages. So it's showing you stills. But that's his play.
Now, I think one of them was, he did have, because I think the concept was we have modern day male, which was, and
he went
to the past, to the time of Jesus, because Perilous Time it rolls around the crucifixion, so it goes around that. So he goes there and to understand a lot more of how it was, and he shows up every once in a while looking, and I think in Angels does it or something like that.
Yeah, what does it say? T9 gives.
You didn't change it. I think you changed it before, but you didn't save it. T9.
Yeah, we're gonna fix that real quick.
Yeah. So, but as we were talking about Hosanna the movie, hopefully we can get that going again. I still have my promo on my Facebook page. We're gonna have that going, and we are hoping that you will support You guys, a lot more people know about me, about us. So hopefully around the second time around, or the third time, or the fourth time around, technically, you will come out and support. 9 gives compilation. Demo. Real music we have on those platforms. On these platforms, please go on support, buy a track, buy the whole album. It's only $15. You know, you can do that. I mean, you spend that alone on a burger and a fry at a restaurant plus a tip.
People are listening to us, so we do get statistics. So
yes,
we want you to go ahead and take a listen to it.
Yes.
We have another project. We're trying to get a Christmas album together. She heard some of the tracks, and I'm like, it's like, so far I got like 62 tracks 82 to go through.
Lord, honey.
But I'm not putting all 82. I'm trying to pick the best of what she says is too much.
And then also I'm finishing up. I wrote a Christmas story. It's time for Christmas, and because of how AI is right now, and I can now actually put it in as it's going to come in as a cartoon, so it's going to be it's cute. So we're going to be having that coming up hopefully by either Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, or 1st of December. Who knows? And
how fast you can edit it and get the music get scored.
And so hopefully we can do that. And that would be on Cashmere TV. So
and BTV.
Yeah,
so we have a lot going on. We're going to be doing a lot this year, next year, 26. So that's the reason why we're pushing the tip jar and all that, because we want to do more. Everything we do costs.
Right. And that's the reason why we really like your support. If you have not, go to our platforms, like us on our platform, so we can increase we got to increase our YouTube platform. So please go over to YouTube. Subscribe. Look, nowadays YouTube don't even tell you we're on unless you push the notification. So, but we actually, if you do though. But however, so go ahead and subscribe, and so we can push our YouTube channels and TikTok. Follow us on Facebook, and we have actually BTV.
Beacon 333 Network
on Facebook. Yeah, because we ran. We're actually Garrison House Podcast is on that platform now. We're on that platform over there, and we ran the telethon harvest. Yes,
subscribers. So
yes,
for those on Beacon, we appreciate you, because we're going to get this on there, because we're going to start going live on our Garrison House Podcast and Beacons. So you'll see us on both platforms when we go live. Which is soon. We'll go live soon.
I think we need to put put a show back on. Maybe put a 30-minute show from where that's on Beacon and put it on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll work on that, because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. Like I said, next week we're going to be creating some new content. We have some content we're creating next week. I'm pretty excited about it. They were telling me about this restaurant, so I said, okay, we're going to go. And so we're going to try it out next week. But anyway, we'll see you all next week. It's been great. And I'm Darnell.
And I am Angela.
Thank you for watching Garrison House. See you next week.
Yes.